guys, what is up? Welcome back to this brand new video. In this video, we will learn about, in short, demonstration of hardware peripherals aimed to identify computer parts. What we will be needing: CPU, RAM, SMPs, motherboard, NIC card, processor cooling fan, PCI card, HDD. Okay, let's start with the CPU. Okay, here what does it say? CPU, central processing unit, processor. Okay, processor. The CPU is a central processing unit. The first peripheral component of hardware peripheral component is CPU. Okay, CPU is a central processing unit located on the motherboard. Okay, it is a ceramic square, 2-inch approximately, with silicon chip inside. Okay, the CPU fits into the motherboard socket and is covered by a heatsink. Okay, speed is measured in megahertz, millions of instructions per second. Megahertz, gigahertz, billions of instructions per second. Very simple, very simple. Let us have a look at a CPU image. Let us have a look. Okay, let us try to identify what are the things. Okay, so this looks like a motherboard. Okay, on the motherboard, so basically in a socket, the CPU is located on the motherboard, so it will have megahertz and gigahertz. So it has 3.5 gigahertz. That means billions of instructions per second. So it has two modes, megahertz and gigahertz. So millions of instructions per second and billions of instructions per second. It has a speed. What are the other things that we come to know? Um, yeah, it's a square shaped, 2-inch approximately, all the sides, and there is a silicon chip inside it. There is a silicon chip inside it, and it's covered with a heat sink. Okay, where is the heat sink? Is this thing the heat sink? Okay, it's a heat sink. Let us search for heat sink. Okay, heat sink CPU. Can you search it? Oh, so this is the heat sink. No, this is not the heat sink. This is not the right way of placing it. Anyway, you gotta understand. So I guess this is the heat sink. There is not the. Is there the motherboard inside it? I'm sorry, is there the CPU inside it? Okay, you got to know. Can you tell me the points? CPU is present on the motherboard. CPU is like central processing unit. CPU is have two modes. CPU has two modes: megahertz and gigahertz. Millions of instructions per second, billions of instructions per second, gigahertz. And there is a silicon chip inside it, and it is covered with a cooling fan, like that, with a heat sink. Oh, so there is a difference between heat sink and something else. So this is the heat sink. Okay, okay, got it. So that's it. That's it. Let's go to RAM. RAM is random access memory. I don't know how much minutes we have. 11 minutes. Yeah. RAM is also known as random access memory. ACS. RAM का from क्या होता है? Random access memory. Like anywhere from the memory, it can randomly, choose to, you know, pull in itself anything, any of the data. Acts as a computer short-term memory. So it acts as a short-term memory. Data is erased when the computer is turned off. Data is erased when the computer is turned off. Long-term data is stored on the hard drive, measured in megabytes and gigabytes. So anyway, let us look at this. There is nothing to remember in RAM. CPU is the first peripheral hardware. Second is RAM. Okay, should we write this down? We should write this down for practice. We should practice. The first of all is CPU, central processing unit. Then we run RAM. These are the peripheral computer hardware. Okay, let us look at RAM. RAM, also known as random access memory. So these are the RAM. Okay, RAMs are measured in MB and GB. Okay, generally we have GBs of RAM, but some of the old laptops used to have megabytes of RAM, and it is basically short-term memory of the computer. That means if the computer is shut down and turned back again, then memory would be lost. That's all. That's all. And long-term memory is stored in a hard drive. Anyway, so done. Let's look at. Did you look at the RAM? Let's look at the RAM. Yes, RAM. Do you know a little bit about this? Yes, we know. We know. Third is SMP. Okay. Switch mode power supply converts power from wall outlets into the usable power for the computer. What does it mean? Distributes power to the motherboard and other components via cables. Okay, okay. We'll look for cables in the in the pictures, distributes power from the motherboard to other components of the wire cables. Okay, basically it supplies power, SMPs, like power supply, power, power supply, SMPs. NPCs? No, these are SMPs. So power supply, switch mode power supply, converts power from wall outlets. Oh, from wall outlets that in your house. Have you seen wall outlets like the switches into usable power for the computer? Okay, SMPs basically converts. Okay, this is something cool. Okay, can you tell me what are SMPs? SMPs. Okay, just look at this. This is the SMP. So this is the outlet. This is the outlet. This is the outlet. Wall outlet. That means that you connect from the wall, and it has to be converted into usual form of power supply that could be used for the computer to run. Okay, so what does it do? It converts what I told, wall outlet's power into usable outlet, usable power for the computer. That's it. That's it. And yeah, other thing it does is distributes power among the components inside your motherboard. Wire cables. I want to look at it. What is that? This is a simple switching mode power. No, no, this is fine. But I want to see how does it actually switches power. Anyway, that deep we should not get. Hmm. So it is just showing motherboard. Let's search for cables. Okay, so these are the different female and male jumper wires or whatever you call them. I don't know what we call them here. So yeah, so these are the different components to which inside the motherboard it will be connected to this SMP. That is, SM is switch mode power supply. This will be connected. The first thing it does is basically distributes the power among the different components by cables, and the other thing it does is basically converts the outlet walls into usable power. Okay, third thing, SMPs is done. Let me write the SMPs. SMPS. Switch mode power supply. Random access memory. Central processing unit. Okay, next is the motherboard. Motherboard. The motherboard, everyone has heard about it. The main circuit board connecting all the computer components. Okay, anyway, it's very easy. Links directly or indirectly to every hardware part. That's cute. Let's have a look at motherboard. So let's just open motherboard. So this is the motherboard. In the motherboard only we have silicon chip, heatsink, CPU, and different components. So basically, a motherboard is a board on which all the components are of a computers are present. So um, to a motherboard, the computer's components are connected directly or indirectly. Okay, that's easy. Let me write motherboard as well. I mean, I'm running out of time. Motherboard. Have to quick motherboard. CPU हो गया, RAM हो गया, SMPs हो गया, CPU हो गया, CPU Central Processing Unit, CPU हो गया, RAM हो गया, SMP हो गया, इसके बाद motherboard हो गया. RAM is also placed on the motherboard as well. Okay, expansion cards, PCI cards provides. What is PCI? PCI full form? What is PCI? Full form, peripheral component interconnected standard. Why? I don't want to know. Expansion cards, PCI cards, peripheral connection interconnected standard. Okay, provides additional features like video, sound, and network capabilities. Most modern motherboard have built-in support, reducing the need of extra cards. Okay, expansion cards कैसा दिखता है? So basically, expansion card का क्या काम है? Provides additional features for video and sound network capabilities. अच्छा. So PCI cards are basically those external cards basically which provide the function of networks, videos, and sound. So this is an expansion card definition. What is an expansion card definition? Okay, so these are the different expansion cards. Crazy, crazy. Have to be quick. So ठीक we can say PCI, that is peripheral something connected, interconnected. Peripheral connection interconnected. PCI cards. What is the full form? I forgot. Peripheral component interconnected. Paytm card industry. No, no, no. Peripheral component interconnected. Anyway, provide additional features like video, sound, network capabilities. Modern motherboard have a built-in support, reducing the need of extra cards. ठीक है. PCI cards or expansion card. Expansion. किस चीज में expansion होगा? Video, network, and sound. NIC. Network interface card. What is NIC? Network interface card. Network interface card. How much minutes we have? 3 minutes. 80 है, हो जाएगा. NIC network interface card. NI card. PCIC. That is peripheral. What was C for? जल्दी बोलो. Peripheral connection interconnected. Peripheral component interconnected. Okay, peripheral component interconnected card used for video, networking, and sound. With modern comes with the inbuilt PCICs and okay, and NICs. Network interface card. And NIC network interface card enables network communication and internet access. तो फिर PCIC क्या है? पता नहीं. फिर PCIC का भी तो वही काम है. PCIC का काम हो गया. NIC हो गया नेटवर्क इंटरकनेक्टेड कार्ड. PCIC उसके बाद क्या होगा? NIC. PCIC NIC नेटवर्क बेसिकली इंटरनेट एक्सेस प्रोवाइड करता है. इंटरनेट एक्सेस एंड कम्युनिकेशन प्रोवाइड करता है. कनेक्ट्स वाई ईथरनेट एंड वाईफाई. either ETH0 and LAN0. NIC में याद रखना है. Processor cooling fan. Mounted on the processor to dissipate heat along with the heat sink. Okay. NIC दिखता कैसा है भाई? देख तो ले नेट पे एक बार. Okay. These look same only, right? NIC and PCICs. That's what? Peripheral, huh? C for component interconnected. And NIC network interface. I forgot the full form. Network interface card. Processing fan, समझ में आ गया. Hard drive, पता है हम लोग क्या होता है. Hard drive store for long time. Okay, anyway, so we are done. Is NCIC, उसके बाद processor cooling fan. We have HDD. Blah, blah, blah. So many stuff. So let me just quickly revise. First of all, CPU. What is the CPU? Central processing unit. How many minutes we have? 1 minute. Okay. What is CPU? CPU is the central processing unit. So it's located on the motherboard, and there is a silicon chip inside it. It's like 2 by 2 inch inside. CPU fits in the motherboard. That is in covered in a heat sink. Okay. And as well as there is a cooling fan around it. You should remember. Speed is in megahertz and gigahertz, like the millions of instructions per second and billions of instructions per RAM. Right? What is RAM? Random access memory. So it acts as a short-term memory, and data gets erased every time the computer is turned off. Long-term memory is stored in hard drive like HDD. We'll be learning about that in the last hard drive HDD. Anyway, so it's just measured in MBs and GBs. SMPs like switch mode power supply basically converts the outlet power supply to usable power supply for the computer and distributes the power to the motherboard and the components by cables. You have seen the cables as well. Motherboard, you know what motherboard is, like a board on which all the components are connected directly or indirectly to it. Expansion cards or PCICs. Expansion card like for videos. Okay, I ran out of time. Hey Siri, 30-second timer. Hey Siri, 30 seconds timer. Okay, PCICs, you know what are they, right? Provides an extra capability, like you know, right? What I'm saying. NIC is also like that, but it provides more like network ETH0 and LAN0. ETH0 and LAN0 are provided by them. Versus Anyway, hard drive, hard drive in long-term storage, data remains stored in the computer standoff. That's it. That's all for the video. I'll catch you up after I have done the second program.